I'm Niko Tamurian here with Matt Hauswirth at the SU outdoor practice field. It's the first day we've been able to check out this team. Obviously, the squad started practicing on Friday. We weren't allowed in Friday, and we found out today a really cool reason. Coach Babers went to his mother's 80th birthday out in California, and he had permission from the team to do that. And I think one thing I know you and I love about Coach Babers, he's just so candid about everything. And it was really nice to hear he was able to do that and his emotion with it too.
Yeah, and he went into deeper context. Another reporter was asking what was the greatest thing your mother ever told you, and piece of advice. I mean, he said, "Oh, you're going to make me cry now." You could tell, that is he's a relationship-oriented guy. Family means a lot to him. He said it was the first time in 35 years that he's celebrated his mother's birthday because it's in August. That's when football camp starts. So he never really usually gets to be able to do that. So to be able to go out there meant a lot to him.
Absolutely. And so one of these things, as we go throughout training camp, we're going to be talking about different things, the best out of conference matchups, the toughest games. But one thing I think that was something that gets overlooked with the success of last year were these guys that, to somebody outside the program, came out of nowhere. Cisco, a true freshman, leading the team with 7 interceptions. Andre Schmidt, we didn't know who he was before the season, and he won the Groza Award for the best kicker in the country.
Incredible.
So Matt and I are going to talk about our sleepers, the guy who's going to break through, who may be a household name to Syracuse football fans by the end of the season. Why don't you go first, Matty?
Okay, so I'm going to go with Evan Foster. Safety, you heard about him last year because of the hit he had on Trevor Lawrence in the Clemson game, knocked him out of the game. And he's a hard-hitting guy, a physical safety. He's a senior this year. He's going to be relied upon to anchor that secondary, him and Cisco. And I just think this guy is going to be a monster on the defensive end this year. Dino Babers has already been quoted saying the defense a little bit ahead of the offense right now, and that's only because of the experience these guys have. A guy like Evan Foster, he's physical, big, understands the game, understands what defensive coordinator Brian Ward wants out of these guys. I think he's poised for a breakout year.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I'm going to go on offense. I'm going to go with tight end Aaron Hackett, and here's why. Ravion Pierce was just a freak at that position, and I don't think you fill somebody's like that shoes right away, but we've seen how Coach Babers likes to use the tight end. Yes, they block, but then they slip through those blocks, and they're really a safety net for the quarterback on that maybe 8-yard route. Aaron Hackett is famous for Syracuse fans. He caught the pass on 4th and 1 at Clemson that, if it wasn't for a penalty, really would have put that game on ice. There was a blocker about a half yard too far down the field. But Hackett, as a young player, essentially the backup tight end at that point, made a high pressure catch to be number 2 team in the country. I thought that was really impressive. And again, Pierce is gone. I think you'll see a lot of Aaron Hackett getting looks in the, in the red zone. He'll have a few touchdowns, maybe more than a few. Even a guy, unfortunately, he's not playing anymore, but the Bevo guy, Gabe Horan, he played one game and caught a touchdown. But that just shows you how Coach Babers likes to use those tight ends in those situations.
Yeah, I think he's definitely poised for a big year. Just looking at him in practice, he's a taller target. He's athletic, too. It seems like he slimmed down a little bit. I think that you're going to see the tight ends being used a little bit more, being utilized in this offense. It's not just deep balls down the field. And we know Tommy DeVito can throw the deep ball with the best of them, but look for those tight ends to be used a little bit more.
And one thing I know you and I both agree on, every year that Coach Babers has been at Syracuse, there's a wide receiver who just lights up everything, okay? 2016, Amba Adebayo, 2017, Steve Ishmael last year, Jamal Custis. Who's it going to be this year? I'm going to go with Taj Harris. How about you?
Ooh, Taj Harris is a good one. I think we haven't seen much of Tristan Jackson. Obviously, we saw him in the bowl game. This guy's a 4-star recruit, one of the best players in the country, coming out a few years ago. Went to Michigan State, ended up leaving, coming here. We saw what he could do in the bowl game. He scored a touchdown. I think this is a guy who has the makings of everything you want in a wide receiver. He was out here running routes with the best of them. He gets after it. He's a chippy guy, an edgy guy. He's from the state of Michigan. A lot of those guys are up there. And, I expect big things out of him.
Yeah, and that's just it. Those bigger guys like that are big targets for the quarterback. We can't forget he's not a big target, but Sean Riley will be awfully impressive as well. Okay, so Matt and I will be doing chats like this to break things down. We'll have a full list for you, for our guys to look out for you a little bit later on, of course, throughout training camp. But for right now, for Matt Hauswirth, I'm Niko Tamurian.